Namaste and welcome to the Essence of Knowledge weekly meeting. This meeting is a part of the Essence of Knowledge program. We conduct many activities here like questions and answers and exams. Today we are going to start with one exam or test of Sagar.
Thanks for sharing the questions. I'll try to answer each of the questions one by one. So, the first question is on the path of knowledge, everything is known, true or false. So, whatever can be known, it's not true. Um, the whole premises of path of knowledge is that the experience and the experiencer are the same, and experiencer is beyond any knowledge or comprehension, don't have any qualities, no time, etc. So I think answer is false. And let's come to the question number second. What can a seeker do to cultivate the qualities of curiosity and desire of liberation? So these things are inherent. Like if we don't have curiosity or desire for liberation, uh, we don't even try to get on the path of knowledge. But I think the most important quality of the seeker is these two itself, and other is concentration. Other qualities can be can be accumulated. So the third question is, why do we need valid means of knowledge to get nothing but unknowing? Uh, so the valid means of knowledge is direct experience uh, and logic. So we need. Why do we need valid means? So we need valid means to verify that uh, whatever we know is just to make sure that whatever ignorance we have, we should look at it closely and understand that whatever beliefs we had were not correct, and the experiencer is actually unknowing. So in order to get to the unknowing, we need the knowledge as well. It's like uh, you know to take a prick out of your skin, you need a needle, and then you have to throw away the needle as well. So I think that will fit here. Question number four: which criteria of truth is not subjective and arbitrary? So direct experience uh, and logic, I think, is the answer of this question. Question number fourth. Question number fifth: which aspect of existence knows itself? What aspect? So question number fifth. So whatever, like, we can know. So can you like elaborate? Is it allowed to ask any elaboration on question?
Yes, sure. Which aspect of the existence knows itself? There are two aspects in the existence, the experience and the experiencer. So, probably the question is asking which out of it is responsible for knowing itself.
Yeah. So ultimately, I think experiencer, like it's a watcher. It's doesn't involve itself, but it keeps help us know the mithya around us, or the maya, or existence, we can say. So I think experiencer would be the right choice. Thank you for explaining the question, Tarunji. And sixth question is it necessary for the essence to be empty? I think yes, because then if we try to give some qualities to the essence, like essence, here we are talking about the essence of the existence itself. So if there is some qualities to it, then it is also a object, and we can it's not the essence itself. So when I'm assuming that emptiness means having no quality, and whatever taught in the module, like uh, timeless, non-local, etc., etc. Seventh question is, everyone's experience is different, but everyone's experiencer is the same. True or false? Yes, so experiences can be infinite, and the one who is experiencing, not experiencing, actually, like, simple answer is true. So question number 8 is, does awareness require discipline? Yeah, definitely. Like, most of us are ignorant people, and we sway away into our old habits and things if we don't keep practicing these things. So I think, yes, it needs, does awareness. Like, I at least need to uh, remind myself of whatever truth has been, or whatever has been taught to us till now in the lesson. And for me, yes, it requires little requires discipline. So answer for question number 8 is yes for me. Ninth, what happens to the moon when no one is looking at it? That's philosophical. So it is not there. If there is, I think, so um so what happens to the moon when the is not looking at it? It don't exist, because you need some kind of object relationship in order to look something. And like, scientifically, it should be always there. Moon should always be there. So let me simplify. What happens to the moon when no one is looking at it? So, Tarunji, can I ask further elaboration on this question number ninth? Does it mean it's like, is it referring to some kind of deep sleep experience where, uh, or what is it?
It is simply asking that if there is no experience, are the objects really present? An example is moon, or you can take any other object. If nobody is observing it, is it really present there? Does it exist as it is?
I will say no, to keep it straightforward, but I might not be able to explain it very much. But for me, it's no. Question number ninth. Question number 10th is, does contemplation disturb peace of mind? Contemplation on what? Let me first define the definition of contemplation. Correct. No, actually, rather, if you sit down and actually, let's say, for example, if you try to be angry, and if you start contemplating on why you got angry, and or something, why you did something wrong, it actually makes you calm down rather than disturbing the peace of mind. I'll say no to question number 10 as well.
Okay, uh, thank you very much. You did very well. It was a good effort, and you got 6 out of 10. Slightly less than usual scores, but it is a pass. I think half of the questions were very difficult today, and you got most of them right, 2 wrong, and some of the answers got zero point 0.5 marks, half marks. So I'm going to discuss, I'll do my own attempt in answering these questions. Some of them are easy, so we'll leave them, but especially those where the answers were wrong, I'll try to explain. And if anybody else has any questions, they can write it here. I'll try to answer that. So Rinky's question is, please elaborate more on this question and answer. How can one detect ignorance in oneself and in others? So this is, as usual, your practice contemplation, questions given for practice, and the answer is also given. I think it is almost obvious that an ignorant person does not know that he or she is ignorant. There are 2 parts in the questions. One is asking about oneself, and the other part says how to detect it in others. one can be sure that in oneself we cannot detect it, because ignorance is complete darkness. That if I am ignorant, I'll never come to know that I am ignorant. Because as soon as we know that I am ignorant, we search for the answer, or we search for the knowledge, and we get it, we remove it if needed. Here ignorance means the basic ignorance, a lack of essential knowledge, not ignorance about other things. So that we can be aware of, but not about the basic, the essential knowledge. Sometimes it is impossible. There is a kind of person who is not even ignorant, because ignorance means presence of assumptions and beliefs which were never tested, which were simply assumed to be true. So they keep believing that whatever I know or whatever I have assumed or somebody has told me is perfectly okay, it's true. So ignorance is actually presence of beliefs. There are people who don't have these beliefs. They are called innocent people. Innocence. And they do not have knowledge, obviously, but they do not have any other belief. So if you go and tell them, look, you don't know all these things, some philosophy and some spirituality, they will admit, yes, I don't know. And sometimes they will say, I don't also need to know, I'm happy. But an ignorant person will not admit this. As soon as they get a hint that, yes, I don't know really, they start searching. That can be cleared. Now, the other part, in others, it will be again difficult. Only those who have knowledge will be able to tell that somebody knows something or not. Can an ignorant person tell that somebody else is ignorant? And it is not really likely. Chances are very less. How will they evaluate somebody else if they themselves don't know? Usually ignorant person will seek approval, whether the other person says the same thing that I believe or not. And if the other person also says the same thing, they will say, yes, he knows everything. And if they say something else, true or false, knowledge, ignorance, that is not the point. It can be something different, even slightly. And the ignorant person will say, no, he does not know anything, because my beliefs are not matching with the other person. So they cannot diagnose ignorance in other. And those who know, they actually don't want to find out who is ignorant, who is not, at least on the path of knowledge. And there is no judgment about anybody. Only if somebody requests that whether I know this thing correctly or not, the seeker on the path of knowledge will take the trouble of checking, what do you know, tell me. And usually these people are teachers or gurus. Why else somebody will go to somebody else to ask whether I'm ignorant or not? Usually an ignorant person never does this. Now the point of suffering. Yes, ignorance causes suffering. But still it is difficult for an ignorant person to recognize that the suffering is coming from me, myself. I'm suffering because I don't know, I don't have any knowledge. And they usually find a cause outside them, that I'm miserable because of somebody else or something else or government, or they blame something supernatural. And those who have knowledge, they also suffer, but they do not blame anybody. They blame themselves, or they know why they are suffering, and their suffering disappears immediately sometimes because of awareness. So when you see somebody suffering and you have knowledge, you can say that they are ignorant, that's why they are suffering. But it's never guaranteed. Probably they are not. Probably, let us say there is some disease in the body and that person is knowledgeable but suffering. So it is a tricky thing, really. Rinki should contemplate more. And one thing is sure, that there is no set formula, there is no law that can tell you who is ignorant, who is not. It becomes really complicated when people are highly educated and they have studied philosophies and they are spiritual also. Then it becomes really complicated matter to tell whether they are ignorant or whether I am ignorant about their state. It happens between people of different paths. The person of one path will say, I know everything, don't teach me. And the person of the other path will say, no, you don't know. This is the truth, not that. So it becomes really big problem. Anyhow, you will know from your own experience. And really, we need to find out our own ignorance and leave the others. That is not practical. Arvind's question, when we discuss past, present, future, it is real easily understood that there is no past and future. Yes. But what is present? This very moment is present. But if we try to quantify this moment, it tends to zero. So logically speaking, there is no present also. Is it true? Yes. Very good thinking. Very good contemplation. When we say time is an illusion, not only an illusion, it is a concept only. You can say it is a hypothesis or useful concept. It is not entirely useless and false. It is a concept. So it is an illusion, yes. However, useful. So as soon as you say time is an illusion, all the words related to time become illusion. All the words related to time become either meaningless or illusory, like history, like past life, etc., etc. They have no meaning now because you are speaking from a position where time is an illusion. You're talking from outside the illusion, from the absolute sense. So present is also related to time, present tense, and it also becomes meaningless. So we need to redefine present here because there is presence, isn't it? It is not that there is nothing. You can remove past and future, but something is there right now. And the word right now also implies time. So we cannot use that word. So we redefine present, at least on the path of knowledge, as eternal. See how beautiful that is. The word present here means eternal, and the word eternal again means timeless. The word eternal does not mean that it is infinite in past and will remain infinite in future, infinite time. No, the word eternal means free of time, devoid of time. So the meaning of presence or present or eternal becomes that which is here but timelessly present. And any amount of time can appear here. Any amount of past, future, whatever you want, any dimensions of time can appear here. Time means change, isn't it? Time is a measure of change. Anything can appear as a change because whatever appears is changing. It cannot appear in any other way. So anything can appear. So in short, yes, your thinking is correct. The word present also loses meaning, but we redefine it to indicate what is now because we cannot even say now. The now word also means time. Short amount of time, big amount of time, how many milliseconds or microseconds, that is totally illogical now. So we call it by some other word, some other name. The name is eternity. I am eternally present. This is the correct word and correct sentence. Yes, Renki is saying memory decides past and future. Yes, it's just like past and future are concepts, present is also concept. Okay, Arvind has one more question. For a seeker, having a tranquil mind is a prerequisite to the path of knowledge, or this is achieved after knowledge is gained. Is restless and agitated state of mind indicate that ignorance is still there? It is a little bit subjective kind of question. Sometimes a monkey mind person can also get knowledge. They need to be steady for the duration of self-realization teaching only. Sometimes, like I said, it is a variable. There is no law that make your mind totally quiet. Only then I'll teach you the self-realization because it is progressive elimination, isn't it? So you eliminate the noisy mind and you become the witness of the noisy mind. And probably that person is intelligent. Hopefully, he will get the self-realization. It is easy. So intelligence is a requirement, probably, not noisy mind, disturbed mind. A disturbed mind can also be given something we can try. But non-intelligent mind, if it is completely silent, will not get knowledge. That is why you must have seen in our Qualities of the Seeker chapter video, silent mind is not a quality. It is not listed. But peace is listed somewhere, I think. Peaceful mind. And that helps in contemplation. Otherwise, it flies away somewhere. But they can still get some knowledge. If they are hyper intelligent, they will. Usually, noisy mind people are very intelligent, I've seen. But it's not a law, like I said, very subjective. Whether it will become peaceful after knowledge? Hopefully. Hopefully. Because the awareness practice illuminates the unnecessary thoughts. Not only thoughts, emotions, desires, memories, actions that we do through the body or the speech. They are all illuminated. Sometimes they reduce in number. It is possible. But it is never seen that the mind becomes more noisy after knowledge. That is rare. It will not. It will want to be peaceful. That is a different practice totally to make the mind a little bit more silent. If the mind is restless, will it indicate ignorance? And again, no. There is no law like this. A totally silent mind can be totally ignorant. It is possible. Those who don't think much, whose lives are very easy, there's nothing, no struggle there, and their minds are very silent, but they are ignorant. So sometimes the mind can become restless. It's okay. The ignorance is not, the knowledge is never wiped out by the activity of the mind. It is hidden, just like clouds can hide the sun. It will rain for a while and then it's gone. Sun is back. There can be momentary forgetting of knowledge because of restless mind, but it is not wiped out. The memory is not completely erased just because you have a restless mind. It is the nature of the mind. Some people have very active minds. They keep thinking in the sleep also. And sometimes after gaining knowledge, the mind drops useless activity, useless thoughts, but starts engaging with the content of path of knowledge or any philosophy. The contemplation continues and it can become excessive a little bit. So there was a question today about this. Usually the contemplation should pacify the mind because the answers start coming and nothing remains to think. So it becomes peaceful. Usually that will happen. And we want that to happen because the peaceful state is blissful also. However, you know that I am not that. I am not these activities that are happening naturally. So in some cases, it can be excessive activity. Some cases not that much. Some cases balanced. But that is not me. I am already peaceful. I am already blissful. Usually these thoughts, awareness, knowledge, calm down the mind. That is what is seen. So it is a big subject. What causes restlessness? There can be physical, biological, economical, financial, relationship, jobs, anything that affects the mind will cause it. So it is a big subject. Ignorance can be one of it, but it's not that important factor. Okay, Mayank is saying everything is illusory. There is no past or future. The present vanishes the moment we live it. Then what is the point of living? What is the point of suffering? What are we trying to achieve? Very good question, existential question. Very good. Why do we exist? When you are asking point, you are asking for a reason. Yes, a causal. Arvind already said that. So there is no point. There is no cause. And there is no cause of suffering also. You see, sometimes we say ignorance is cause of suffering. But then immediately you can ask, what is the cause of ignorance? Some people will say society. Because we have already given some causes in the program. Indoctrination, bad education system, and so on. You see, lack of intelligence. But what causes all these things then? Ultimately, the chain of cause and event is infinite. Nothing causes anything. The cause and effect itself is illusion. Remember this thing. It is defined only in illusion, cause and effect. The fundamental things, experience, experiencer, existence, etc., emptiness, and the concepts of cause and effect do not apply there. So there are no causes. Why are we here? No, there is no why, no reason. And the reasons and causes, they are meaningful in illusion, and that too in a small area. If you take a timeline and only one or two events can be said to be a cause of some other event. Otherwise, if you start asking cause of all the causes, then it will become infinite. So you need the whole universe to cause a single event here, isn't it? You can think about it. Why? What caused you to come in satsang? And the whole universe. Without it, there is nothing. So it is really meaningless to ask for a reason of anything. Where are we going? What are we trying to achieve? Nothing really. There is no goal of what is happening. If there is a goal, it will be an illusion, because the whole life is an illusion. So again, no consequence. We are not here to achieve anything. Existence does not want anything special. So all these are a direct consequence of the knowledge, all these answers. However, it is very depressing. For an average seeker, it is depressing. For an ordinary person, the person will become suicidal if you tell them your life has no meaning, no point, and there is nothing to achieve because you cannot achieve anything. You will disappear, you will die. It is a philosophical question, isn't it? Why are we here? So, from the practical point of view, you come down in illusion, take 1 or 2 steps down, you assume the illusion as true. That is called the transactional point of view, practical point of view. And since we are free to assign any reason for our existence, we assign a good reason. We are free to achieve anything. Whatever we are capable of, we try to achieve that. And we see that there is no point in suffering. So we try to remove suffering. We try whatever means is possible, because nobody likes suffering even if there is no point of it. Nobody likes it. Even if the world is a dream, nobody wants a bad dream. They say, at least make this dream a good dream, beautiful dream. So this is human nature. And the answers come from humans. The answers are given by humans, not by philosophy, not by spiritual truth, and not by the existence. The Brahman is always blissful. It does not matter what is happening here. In it, you are that Brahman. So, since there is no point, you can assign a good reason to your life. Since suffering can be cured, you can cure it. And since there is nothing to achieve, you can achieve anything. Now that sounds like freedom, isn't it? Everything that I said sounds like freedom. We are free to do it. Remember, the existence is complete freedom. It is totally liberated. There are no limitations of any kind in existence. And that is what is reflected in not having any reasons. Let us assume that there is a reason. There is one reason. It does not matter what it is. But existence has given us a reason. Out of infinite reasons, you were born only for one reason. And everybody is like this. Now, can we call it infinite? Can we call that existence infinite? Because it is now limited to one. Let us assume that everybody needs to achieve only one thing. It is given now. It is a law in the existence. And that also makes it limited. Because out of the infinite thousands, millions of things we can achieve, you are limited to one. That existence will not be called infinite or complete, whole or perfect. It will become like a jail. So because wholeness is the quality, not quality actually. Unlimitedness is the nature of the existence. We see all these things. Whatever appears here, even though it is limited, still there are limitless possibilities. Even for a human being, the possibilities are too many. The only mistake you can do is limit yourself even more, thinking that my birth happened for no reason. My life has no point. That will be limiting yourself even more. Obviously, there is no point of suffering. Do not leave it alone because it is without any cause. You should remove it. Eliminate whatever you can. Probably it will never go away completely. But you don't suffer. That much can be done. That much can be known. It is an illusion. Suffering is also an illusion, just like happiness. Do not limit yourself by thinking that there is nothing to achieve here. Nobody gave me anything to achieve. No supernatural thing gave me anything. And that will be not intelligent. Whatever was given was unlimited. Now pick one. Or why one? You can achieve 10, 20, 100 things. Now you need to get an evidence of these things, whatever I said. Check around you, check your direct experience. Hasn't everybody given a reason for their life themselves? I live for this thing, I live for that thing. I took birth for path of knowledge. I took birth to teach others. So people have given all kinds of reasons. Is everybody trying to achieve one thing? No, they are doing whatever they want to do and whatever limitations they have, under whatever limitations they find themselves. That is the evidence. Just look around, and that is the evidence of freedom of the existence. So I can give you ready-made reasons if you want, because some people they like it. So on the path of knowledge, the point of getting a human body and human experience is to know what is the truth, is to know my essence. Anybody on the path of knowledge will say, I was born for this. Otherwise, why will they take this kind of trouble to study this crazy philosophy? It is extremely crazy. You can see. They will say the point of suffering is to learn, positive attitude. What do you actually do when you suffer? You learn not to repeat it. That is natural. What are we trying to achieve? Again, somebody on the path of knowledge will say, there is nothing to achieve, but I am playing the game of evolution, spiritual evolution. I am whole and complete. I know this thing. There is nothing to achieve because I am already the absolute. But I'm playing this game. You can see that is what is happening. All these forms, illusory forms, they are play. And usually the play is also infinite. You can pick any role. But for a seeker, the role is spiritual evolution. That is given by the path of knowledge, Gyan Marg. These points, or you can say reasons, are ready-made and they're given so that you don't have to worry too much. You say, my path is path of knowledge, done. Everything will be given to you. And these are not arbitrary. Great people, great masters, they arrived at all these recommendations through thousands of years of contemplation, combined intelligence. That combined intelligence is also called the Guru field. So it is standard, and you will see the same thing repeated in other paths and other philosophies, other spiritual systems. Something similar. So amazing, and a good question actually. And we should do all these things fully knowing that there is no cause and effect and there is nothing to achieve. Fully know these things, then everything becomes play. And some people will say, why should I play? Remember, that is also a role in the big play. That I took a role where I pretend not to play. It is an illusion, you see. It is meaningless. So Rinki is saying, we should make an effort to make our experiences better, right? But we get in trap of how better we want. Example, one house, this big, all other material things. So there is no end. I think your question is where to draw the line, isn't it? Where do we draw the line? Probably that is what you are asking. It is subjective. What makes you happy? What kind of experience makes you happy? Is one house making you happy? Probably, yes. Draw the line there. 2 houses are making you happy because you have a big family, you want a vacation house. Yes, no problem. If you can afford it, get 2. Same for all the material things. If you can easily get it, take it. It is all illusion. It is all play. But if something is making you suffer, like you want a 3rd house now, and that is making you suffer, that is making you run after money and jobs 24/7, your life is hell. Now that is not recommended. That is not intelligent. You draw the line there. I don't want to suffer. My point was to become happy. Just like I said, some people, many people have decided that they simply want to live a happy life. So why should I go against my goal of happiness by doing too much work? I already have a lot. So you draw the line there, depending on what makes you happy. As soon as things become full of suffering, painful, you stop. I don't want, you say. Because the mind has a tendency to accumulate. It will never say no. It is greedy. So awareness and intelligence should come in here, interfere in the working of the accumulation tendency. It will be good enough. The path of knowledge has already prescribed many things for the seekers. It is a complete path. So, what is the recommendation on the path of knowledge? Minimalism. They are not saying that you maximize your happiness. No, they are saying you minimize your needs, and then you will automatically maximize your happiness without doing anything, without any effort. So less is more on the path of knowledge. Happiness is not given by the material things or other people. It never comes from outside. It is your own state of mind. So if you enjoy in less, that will be much better, isn't it? That is a good deal, business deal. You don't need to do anything more, You don't need to suffer to become happy. That is a contradiction, isn't it? People are suffering so that they can be happy. And they say, in future I'll be happy. But the future never comes. There is no future. So it is a trap, yes. It is a trap. Minimize. How to minimize? There are 3 stages of minimalism. First is you drop, give away, and do not take that which causes suffering. That should be very obvious. It is a common sense thing. Whatever is causing suffering, you throw it away, drop it. I don't want it. It can be objects, it can be people, it can be your ambitions, it can be spiritual practices also. You see, if it is causing pain, drop it. Don't want it. Second step is drop that, reduce that which is unnecessary, which is not causing suffering but is totally unnecessary. You can live a very good life without it. Again, the categories are same: objects, people, whatever. And the third is drop that which you think is necessary, because ultimately nothing is necessary here, including the human body. So that stops the cycle of death and birth. Minimalism. For an average seeker, the third step is difficult, but these 2 are very easy, first 2 steps. Minimalism will make you happy. Whatever makes you happy is your circle, is your line. You will cross the line sometimes, it's okay. Most of the time you stay in and you will be happy. It will be called a good experience. It will be called a good life. And there is no rule for everybody. Everybody is free to draw their boundaries. They are free. Suppose there is an industrialist and he wants to set up 20 factories. Yes, go for it. The line there is 20 factories, millions and billions of money. It's perfectly okay as long as he is not suffering, he or she, and is not causing suffering to others. Causing suffering to others is called violence on path of knowledge. Causing harm of any kind is called violence. So, minimalism, non-violence. See, everything is given to you. You don't need to think too much. It is perfect. But you are free to come up with your own criteria. Okay, Mayank is saying, so if I die and reborn again and again, and then again, I have to go through this loop. Yes. So the good solution is not to take birth again and again. And the good news is you never die and you never take birth. Know yourself, know your essence, know your true nature, that is birthless and deathless. Spend this birth, knowing what it is and abiding in that knowledge. So automatically that will stop. Whatever forms that you are identified with, they are not you, but they also stop. That's the good thing on the path of knowledge. Many scriptures declare this thing because obviously we won't be able to get any direct evidence, We don't have any direct evidence of repeated births and deaths. Some people may remember 1 or 2, but at least I don't. So whatever evidence we don't get, we don't imagine about it and we don't suffer from it. That is the point, isn't it? We don't know about repeated birth and death, so why to think about it? There is no evidence of it. Even if it is there, it will be an illusion. That much we know for sure, isn't it? Just like this birth, this death, and this life, this body, mind is an illusion. If it repeats, it will be an illusion. If you are identified with this thing, it will cause suffering. If it repeats and you are not identified with this, whatever is repeating, you will be blissful. I am not saying you will be happy. Happiness is a state of mind. Your state is bliss, permanent bliss. You need to establish this knowledge. You need to verify, prove it. You are not this. That takes birth and dies. And the theories of rebirth and all, they are theories right now. There is no, at least today, I cannot give you an evidence. I cannot prove you. But I can prove that you are not that. That is established. For that, we have evidence that I am the whole, I am the existence. That much can be proven. That is the truth. In false, nothing can be proven. In illusion, nothing can be proven. What if you never die? What if you never take birth? What if this is another dream? So, do not worry about what happens in illusion. Absolutely anything can happen. Anything can happen at all here. So, we don't worry about that. Worry about the truth. Why are you identified with something which is taking birth and rebirth and whatever? What is the point of it? Wrong identification. And anybody will say, probably I should drop it and see what happens. That is called knowledge. Yes, Neelam is saying the body dies not. Yes. Why is there an identification with the body? Even after all the evidence is presented. Whose evidence? Your own, isn't it? Evidence is direct experience, your own intelligence. Employ it. Like I said, path of knowledge gives you meaning to live, a reason to live. This is the reason. Disidentify with all these things that come and go. Impermanent illusion, disidentify with it. You won't be able to do it unless it is proven. And how to prove it? Yes, path of knowledge is the method. So don't go through this loop. It can be dropped today by disidentification. Now whatever happens, happens. It is not your personal thing. There is no person. There is no I and nothing is mine. However, I am the whole. So think about these things in your free time. Contemplate. I'm going to the questions of Sagar now. Number 1, on the path of knowledge, everything is known, true or false. So he said, no, nothing can be known actually, because it is all, whatever is known is an illusion. So he got half marks. There can be points of views here. And the famous point of view, famous interpretation of the path of knowledge is, if you know yourself, you know everything. Everybody must have heard this thing. What is that one thing by knowing which everything is known? And that is you. That is me. Essence. Because that is everything. Existence is defined as everything. So I am everything. So everything is known, isn't it? But the problem is, it is not known as an object, subject object. It is not known like this. It is not known that, you see, whatever I see around me is me. It is not never known like this. Opposite is known. I am not whatever I see. I am the experiencer, not the experience. But essentially, the essence of the existence is me. I am that. I am the experiencer. So it is a word play now, play of words. Since everything is me, I know myself, even though I don't know myself like an object, as an impression in the memory, still I know everything. So here the knowing happens by being what I am, not by experiencing something else. That is knowledge. You know everything by being everything. That is better than knowing something which is external. So interpretation, play of words. However, this will make the answer complete for those who will encounter it in future. Someday you'll encounter these questions. So always answer completely like this. That first thing is that nothing will be known in our conventional fashion. Nothing is known. Negative knowledge will happen. Yes, negative knowledge about everything will happen. You can call it knowledge in short, not positive. And moreover, it will be known that everything is me, the essence. Or in other words, essence of everything is also the essence of this thing, which I used to call myself. But there is nothing like this. There is no I. Another way to say the same thing, isn't it? But a complicated way. So it depends on how you interpret the word everything and knowledge. But this is path of knowledge. It is a little bit tricky, although it is straight. Okay, number 2. What can a seeker do to cultivate the qualities of curiosity and desire for liberation? Full marks. These cannot be cultivated. His answer was right. The person is born with these qualities. Although they can be polished a little bit, but you cannot bring them. Okay, number 3. Why do we need valid means of knowledge to get nothing but unknowing? And he tried, so got point 5 here also. The question is saying that if I'm left with unknowing means lack of ignorance, but no knowledge. Nothing new will be known, but the beliefs and all that ignorance will be dropped. So that is called unknowing. So why don't I simply say that nothing is known? Nothing can be known. Everything is unknowable. Why don't I say it and live happily? Why do I need to take the trouble of means of knowledge, finding the right means of knowledge, going to a guru and all? So it is a difficult question here, and I'll try my best to answer it. But probably everybody already knows the answer. That the valid means of knowledge is needed to remove the ignorance. The initial goal is not to reach unknowing. Probably the seeker does not know that he will be left with unknowing. He will become agnostic. The seeker does not know. He is new. So the goal initially is removal of ignorance. The goal of path of knowledge is removal, destruction of ignorance. That's all will happen. And the unknowing is a result of it. And valid means of knowledge are needed to identify the ignorance and get rid of it. What are the valid means? Direct experience and logic. Your own experience and your own intelligence. Nobody else will tell you. And the guru will simply point to your own experience, and the guru will sometimes teach you to employ logic by pointing out the errors. So when that is done, which takes very little time, you are left with unknowable. Is it bad? No. That is the purest form of existence. In existence, there is nothing to know, and there is nothing to assume also. That is so pure. The word emptiness describes it very beautifully. What will you know in emptiness? Your knowledge will be empty. You will become empty of knowledge also, which is your pure nature. Your pure form is no knowledge, and obviously no ignorance. Because ignorance is also like a knowledge only. It is impressions in the memory only, although they are simply assumed. They are unverified and they are wrong. So in pure form, there is nothing. It is not nothing, it is everything. That is the paradox. So hopefully everybody understood this answer. And number 4, which criterion of truth is not subjective and arbitrary? So his answer was wrong. A criterion of truth on path of knowledge is changeability. Changing is false here. Is it not subjective and arbitrary? That can be matter of debate because it is universally accepted. However, some people will not accept it, and that makes it subjective. Because in existence, nothing is true and nothing is false, and both can appear depending on the criteria. So it is arbitrary. Arbitrary means we pick it depending on how useful it is. It is useful to take us to our essence, isn't it? The essence is the thing that never changes. Remember this thing. Definition of essence. That which never changes. That is the truth, we say. However, you can do the whole path of knowledge without saying the word truth or false or illusion. It is what it is. We say like this sometimes, and we avoid the classification of true and false. Because ultimately it is what it is. Whole existence. Nothing is true there. Nothing is false. So no matter how carefully you choose the criteria, it will be always, somebody will come and say it is yours. It is subjective and arbitrary. So we choose the criteria that is best according to our intelligence and knowledge. And we get the work done. We reach our essence and then we drop it. Because the non-essential, the changing is also me, ultimately. However, you will not reach that conclusion without the criteria. That is another paradox. See how it is like a mystery movie, isn't it? Path of knowledge. In Hindi, we call it jalebi. Although we keep claiming that it is a straight path, pathless path. But no, it has a lot of twists. Anyhow, Sagar needs to revise these things. What are the criteria of truth? What are the means of knowledge? Never confuse these things. Why? You should think about, contemplate why it is subjective. Why there is no ultimate. All the people will keep claiming that no, my truth is ultimate. However, it is all philosophy, you see. So number 5, which aspect of existence knows itself? There are 2 aspects, just like I said, in existence, the experience and the experiencer. And none of them knows itself. This is strange, isn't it? However, he got point 0.5 because he said experience is known and so on, you see. Something he tried to answer. So sometimes the experiencer is confused with the knower, but however, experiencer has no knowledge. It knows nothing. It witnesses knowledge, it witnesses ignorance, it witnesses everything. If you ask experiencer, because you can ask, isn't it? You are that. So why don't you ask yourself, what do you know? And it will never say anything. You can do this exercise. Ask it. It never says anything. It is complete silence because why? It is empty. Nothing to say. Sometimes it will say, I don't know anything. I have no criteria. I have no means of knowledge. Nothing. I'm so pure. It will say like this. You do whatever you want. I'm blissfully witnessing. So who knows then? Can somebody tell me? Who knows itself or existence or whatever? Because I remove both because experience cannot know anything, that probably he also said, Sagar. But the problem is with the experiencer. Sometimes people say the experiencer knows. No. Yes, correct answers. Correct. No one. Neelam Bhupen Rinki. No one is there to know anything. Right now I said there's unknowing, nothing to know. Who will know anything? Only the ignorance. The claim that I know something is dropped. This is the interesting part in the movie. Nobody's there. The one who claims to know is an illusion. The person or the body mind machine or memory or whatever we say, wherever the knowledge is stored. It's all illusion. Why? Because there's nothing to know really. Whatever was known was impurity. Your chapter on unknowing, it says knowledge is ignorance. It is shocking, isn't it? We took 10 chapters to arrive at the means of knowledge and so on, and then it is declared. In Shiv Sutras, Shiva says, or whoever wrote that says, Jnanam Malam, Ajnanam Malam. Malam means impurity, dirt, knowledge, ignorance. Both are impurity because they're same. They're impressions on the memory, which is illusory, which is formed by experiences, storage of experiences, sanskaras, impressions. And what is experience? What is stored? Illusion. So only denial is possible. Only refutation is possible. Only negative knowledge is possible. Cleaning is possible of this dirt. Sometimes that is called knowledge. And existence is witnessing that. It has no problem. If the dirt is there, it will never say it is dirt. Human beings say these things. It does not say. It says, okay, bring it on. I have no problem with knowledge or ignorance. That is a play. So it is just like a screen. If you play a horror movie on the screen is fine. Nothing happens. If you play a romantic or happy movie, comedy, screen is okay. There are no preferences there. Quality less. No qualities. Attribute less. So nobody knows anything. Especially existence will say, I don't know. It is absolute innocence. You are that already. And this ignorance comes that I can know something and I'll teach you everything. That is also ignorance, isn't it? And that is only the ego, which is an illusion. Okay, let's go forward. Is it necessary for essence to be empty? Actually, he got full marks because it is a little bit confusing question. That he said, yes, if there is any quality, then it will change. Yes, very good logic by Sagar. If it is not empty, there will be something, and that something will be an experience because the experiencer is empty. So the other option is experience of some kind, and the experience is always changing. There is no third in this existence. Only the empty can be the essence. See how beautiful it is. It is necessity. It is necessary. Why is essence empty? You can say in one sentence, it is necessary. Because as soon as you put something there, some quality, some attribute, some characteristic, it will be something which is changing. And if it is changing, it cannot be called essence. Because the definition of essence is that which is unchanging. So it is not arbitrary and it is not subjective really. It can be controversial, but it is necessity. By necessity, the essence must be empty. That is how it is. Now, these kind of things are called self-evident in philosophy, in the field of philosophy. We say there cannot be anything more, anything else. There is no other option. So, another way to say it is, it is necessary that it will be empty. Put anything there, yes, it's not essence anymore. So other examples of self-evident things are experiencer, existence, and experience. You cannot deny these things, and you don't need to prove all these things because they are self-evident. So it is self-evident actually that all there will be is emptiness. It will be the essence. So how are all these things coming in our experience then? What are these things? World, body, mind? What are all these things? And the only option that remains is they are not real. They are not actually there. That is not what it is. Sanskrit Maya, not what is actually here. It is not that. Like a dream. See, the illusion part also is necessity. Otherwise, it will not remain empty. It is beautiful. So, there's no need to prove anything actually. You need to simply drop your ignorance here. Okay, number 7. Everyone's experience is different, but everyone's experiencer is the same. True or false? This question is very problematic. Can somebody point out the problems? There are two big problems in the question. And Sagar could not answer this thing. His answer was wrong, I think. Sagar is saying now, probably realized everyone's experiencer. Yes, that is a big problem. Arvind also is correct. The word everyone is a big problem. Yes, Rinki is saying there is only one. Yes, Neelam is correct. Yes, everyone doesn't have separate experiencer. Yes. Not only that, nobody gets the experience except the experiencer. Everyone is not experiencing anything. Everyone is illusion. Everyone is part of the experience. These questions are designed to test your contemplation. Have you verified it or not? These questions are not designed to test your memory. Have you memorized all the contents of the program or not? No, we are not interested in memorizing anything. Do not memorize. Anyhow, you will, as you discuss and as you embody the knowledge, everything will be impressed in your memory. All the definitions, all the logic, all the arguments that are given, you will, remember them by heart. If you indulge yourself, if you throw yourself on the path. So there is no actual need to really read everything or listen and memorize. It's all your own experience. Isn't it your own experience? So anyhow, next question. Does awareness require discipline? He got full marks because he said that at least for me, discipline is required. And yes, it is a subjective question. Some people will say, no, I'm in awareness day and night without doing anything, without any effort, effortless effort. But such people are very rare. So sometimes it requires effort. Sometimes it requires a little bit of practice and method and discipline also, yes. It is just like learning to drive a car. It will become effortless, don't worry. Initially, you will require effort or discipline. You will need to check the road, you will need to check the speed, brakes, and steering and everything. It requires discipline. And after some time, 1000 kilometers, you will see that the car is driving itself. The driver and the driven are one. So this is how awareness is. Your practice is complete when you see that I don't need to practice. It has become my nature. So initially something is required. For many people, there are few fortunate who don't require any effort. And the key is love of knowledge, philosophy. Remember the words, their meanings. Love of knowledge. If you love knowledge, will you forget? Never. Those who love cars, they can drive any car, any on any road, any country. They love driving. They love cars. Probably they can drive any vehicle, truck or train or whatever you give them. So that is you can say, hack. You can hack the system by being in love with knowledge. And in that way, you don't need to discipline or do anything else. How much effort do you require to remember somebody you love? Actually, effort is required to forget somebody whom you love, isn't it? Everybody must have experienced this thing. If you love somebody, you cannot forget that person, even if that person forgets you. So, love is the key. Number 9. What happens to the moon when no one is looking at it? He got half mark. And it looks like that this has nothing to do with path of knowledge. But a very funny question, but it is totally a path of knowledge question. Like I explained, that what happens to the objects when there is no experience of the object. We are not even talking about the experiencer here. We are talking about the experience part. Obviously, if there is experience, there will be experiencer. Cannot have an experience without the experiencer. So we know that the experience is there. Right now, I am experiencing my room, and their experiencer is also there. Yes, but what about the moon? Is it there or not? So again, I'll ask in the meeting, Satsang, what is the opinion of everybody here? Not only moon, whatever is not currently visible to you, where are these things? Are they really there? I don't think that this is a simple question. This question is there since many thousand years. People still don't know the answer. Even the quantum physicist does not know the answer. Okay, Sagar is saying no. No moon? Yes, he answered like this. You answered it. Rinki is saying if it's not an experience, then it's not. You mean it does not exist? So when I look back to the moon, will it appear magically? That is the objection of people. It must be there. That's why, it cannot appear magically if I look at it. And Neelam is also saying does not exist. So we have a majority here. Interesting. And Sagar is saying the thing appears only when there is a subject. That is true. How do they appear? Okay, Bhupen is saying there is no one to prove that if the moon is there, so it's just an imaginary situation. Very good answer, actually. Very good answer. Rinki is saying why experience. So you need to now go back to the path of knowledge and remember that the experiencer and does not create anything. It is not the creator. But the objects are not already created also. These two statements are examples of negative knowledge. See carefully. There is no creator and nothing is created. Can we say anything more? Agnostic, yes. This is full knowledge. Don't worry, you will never know anything more than this. Do not worry about these things. So it is wrong to say that the moon gets created when I look at it. It is totally absurd, stupid idea. Nothing gets created. And what happens to it when you are not looking at it? No knowledge. Bhupen was very close. No knowledge happens. Because knowledge happens only by experience. Remember this thing. So it is imaginary situation, correct? We imagine that it is there. There is another explanation that it is there as a potential, because everything in this existence is actually a potential. It is potentially there. There is a potential to appear as an illusory object. So there is a good potential there that it will appear. There is a chance. However, it may not. Remember, everything is changing. Never forget these things. Moon is also changing. The thing is, it is changing so slow that it is impossible to imagine that it will not be there when I look. Now, take an example of, let us say, tomato. Or tomato. Let us say somebody is very hungry in your house and you put a tomato there. You look at the tomato is there. But you go to kitchen to bring something, somebody ate it. Let us say, imagine like this. No tomato now. It's gone. Why? Because changing thing. It can go anytime. If you say that there is no time, just like we discussed initially in the meeting, if you say that there is no time, time is itself an illusion or it's a concept, then everything has already disappeared because it is changing. Is it mind-bending? Yes. Mind-blowing? Yes. We cannot understand these things, isn't it? Moon is chosen by philosophers, many scientists and all, because it is relatively stable and nobody will eat it. It won't be destroyed tomorrow, hopefully. So it is chosen, and that complicates the matter. Instead of moon, if you take a perishable or impermanent thing, then the answer becomes very clear that it is momentary appearance. Can we say more than that? People don't know these answers. Only on path of knowledge you will get a satisfactory answer. No scientist will tell you. No philosopher, even the most intelligent person in the universe will not be able to tell you if this knowledge is not there about the emptiness, impermanence, and infinite potential. Actually, what can happen is, if you look to the sky tonight, it is possible that you will see 2 or 3 moons. It is possible. There is a possibility like this. Those who are living in other planets, on other planets, for them, this is the truth. What is not possible? Everything. So the reverse is also possible. That when you are not looking, assuming that there is not only one moon in the sky, you see tomorrow you can find 5 or 6 moons, because anything can appear. And because these moons and suns are relatively stable from the human point of view, we never think like this. However, you go to your garden tomorrow and you will see that 2 or 3 more flowers are there now. Probably more flowers have bloomed which were not there when you're not looking. Who created them? We have stories, but possibility is there. Anything can appear, anything can disappear. It is unknowable actually. Number 10, does contemplation disturb peace of mind? He got full marks, because this is again subjective thing, that some people will say, no, after contemplation I know the answers and mind is silenced because there's nothing to think now, or I get solutions to my problems. Contemplation is simply finding the answers, isn't it? And so instead of disturbing the peace of mind, it brings the peace of mind. That is what should happen ideally, that you contemplate on some problem like moon and everything, and your mind should become peaceful. That, oh, I found the answer. Actually, on path of knowledge, we never find the answer, we destroy the question. So that is complete silence. Because presence of a question is an disturbance, and presence of an answer is double disturbance. So absence of both is complete silence. That is what will happen on path of knowledge. You don't get answers. There's nothing to know. So no worries, nothing to do, nothing to think about. That is complete peace, blissful mind. And if that is not happening, you keep thinking, that means you are not getting the answer. There must be some problem. There must be some ignorance. And that has disturbed the peace of mind. So just like we discussed a few minutes ago, ignorance can disturb peace of mind, yes, but not always. So if your mind is disturbed by contemplation, especially on the topics of knowledge, that means you are doing something wrong, and it is good to ask your teacher. The guru has already done all these things, and something will be given to you, some solution will be given. Some gurus, some teachers, they are not that kind and compassionate. They will not give you the answer. They will give you a method to arrive at the answer. They will point out the mistake which is causing disturbance in the mind. So that is better, isn't it? Because you learn to fish, and so you will not be on mercy of somebody for the rest of your life. So the way is very easy, direct experience and logic. That is the only way. It was already given to you. So not using that will cause disturbance in the mind. That will cause loss of peace of mind. And you'll keep thinking about these things. Like he was thinking, why are we here? What is the point? Just use your direct experience. If there is a point, you will see it surely, because it is your life. So I think today's food for thought is already there for you. Think about all these things, you see. Practice Q&A. We have the whole knowledge quiz on the website that will help you to make your knowledge stronger. Okay, so we will end today's meeting here, and thank you everybody for participating. Congratulations to Sagar. Very good effort. Continue and put more effort, and I'll see you next time. Namaste.